All right, welcome everybody to the RF Generation Collectorcast, episode 62. I
Correct.
can't believe we're already at 62. It's amazing. That's how fast it goes by, fellas. Well, we're sorry that we missed an episode last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we were on a really good streak this year.
Bill and I don't know. Bill, it spaced me completely. Did you remember at some point?
Yeah, no, because we were all set to go. And then it was like I had like a family thing here. Like my wife was having a very tough time with the kids, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give her some support and let's just do it on Sunday. And then Sunday came and went. So yeah, we.
I had other plans. Like they were trying to coordinate without me.
Yeah,
which they obviously are incapable of.
Yep. And when we came back, we're like, all right, like it's gonna happen regardless. Like someone might miss it, but we're still gonna do it. And like there we go, we missed one.
Yeah, it's okay. We're on a really good streak, though, right?
Yeah,
we're doing
pretty
really
good.
well. So
Pretty good.
Had a little cushion this time for the first time ever.
I'm sure that people will. It just builds up the anticipation a little bit more,
Exactly.
Right? Because we were like, are they gone again? No, we're not gone again. We just missed one episode. No big deal. So it's been a little while for us to chat as well. So we kind of want to just take an episode and just not have a particularly focused topic, just catch up a little bit. And I'd like to take a minute first off and just go around the room and just get life updates and chat before we get right into the gaming stuff. So, Bill, I know you've had some exciting things come your way within the last month. So care to share?
Yeah. So as people know who listen to the show a little bit or who follow me on other places on the internet, we kind of got bit by the Lego bug early in the whole COVID lockdown quarantine deal. We wanted an activity that we could do together as a family that didn't necessarily revolve around a screen because we already have like a lot of screen things. We got the phones, we got the video games. So we said, well, and my kids play, baseball and hockey, but we're like, okay, like what's something else that's creative and we could kind of, kind of get our hands, get working with our hands with. So we ended up getting this Lego, Star Wars ship, for a couple $100, which, is a lot for something like that, but we're like, whatever, we'll just do it. And we got, really, really hooked on just like, okay, we want more sets now. So anyway, that was like the beginning of it. So this past, like 6-8 months or so, I found the Lego Raffles subreddit, started bidding on some Lego, winning some, and in the last, couple of months, I've been doing my own raffles. And one of the upsides of this is I get a lot of VIP points, which is like Lego's like loyalty reward program, and for enough loyalty points, you can get gift cards like vouchers for to purchase Lego from their website. So with this magic Spacebuck Lego money, the Batwing is not something that I purchased with points. The Batwing is something that I actually won at an auction. So the Lego Batwing, the 1989 Batwing, which is going to look great next to the 1989 Batmobile. I'm not really like a minifigure guy. Like some people who are into Lego are like really into like collecting the minifigs, and I'm not really into it. But at the same time, the Batman minifig is really cool, so I'm glad I have another one. And there's another version of the Joker, and Lawrence from the Batman film is amazing. They call him Boombox Thug on the packaging, but
Boombox Thug.
Yeah, but he is Lawrence. So the Batwing is super cool. It's the first model that they've added this piece where you can hang it on the wall.
Yeah,
so
that looks cool.
You have the option to have it on its little stand, or you can wall mount it, which is nice. I made a trade with another guy on the Lego Raffles site for the Palace Cinema Theater Lego set, which is a retired Lego set. It's a modular, so they make these buildings for these crazy adults who want to have like a Lego city. So there's like a pet shop and a detective office, and there's like a hotel. And there's the bookstore. You could make like your whole Lego city. So it's my first modular, is the Palace Cinema, which kind of has like a Grauman's Chinese theater vibe to it. The Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series Y-Wing, which is one of the nicest looking Star Wars UCS sets. What else? Tomorrow's a big day for in the Lego world. The Ghostbusters Ecto 1 was leaked not that long ago and confirmed that it's coming out tomorrow. So we got hockey in the morning, and then we are going to the mall to grab the Ecto 1 with points. And what else? There was the Batwing. Oh, the Saturn V rocket. This thing was like $40 off on Amazon, and I've wanted it for a long time, and it was actually retired, and they brought it back, which I haven't been in the Lego hobby that long, but I'm not familiar with them ever bringing back a retired set, so this is kind of unprecedented as far as I know. So I grabbed it with it being the $40 off, and we haven't opened them yet. And these are both raffle wins, but the Lego NES and the Star Wars Mos Eisley Cantina. We won both of those, so those are already wrapped. They're going to be Christmas, under the tree. But yeah, it's the Legos hit kind of hard, and
I'd say so.
Some of it's like I said, some of it's raffle wins, and some of it's the Treehouse set I purchased with points. And there's they have these little Christmas sets, same type deal. Like they come out with a new one every year. So if you want to expand your little Lego Christmas village, and Sarah's actually into that because she's like a lot of people. She's very into the seasonal decorations. So in the spring, all the spring decorations come out, and then in the summer, all the summer and then so I said, hey. They make these different Lego Christmas village sets every year, and she's like, "Oh, we could get one every year." So yeah, those are basically my pickups. And then as far as in the world of the actual video games that we all come here for, the delayed expansion to Destiny 2 came out just about four days ago. Was the 10th? So yeah, just earlier in the week, Destiny 2 Beyond Light came out. Have not had a ton of time to dive into it. I probably played maybe 6 or 7 hours, just kind of bits and pieces here and there. Campaign's really good so far. I'm digging it. From what I see on the on Reddit, it's a little bit of a salt mine right now. People are not happy that weapon sunsetting has happened. There's some economy issues with them taking so many weapons out of the game, not putting a whole lot of weapons back in. A lot of destinations got pulled out of the game, so people are trying to justify why are we paying so much for this and you're having stuff taken away.
As someone who doesn't play Destiny, I feel like you guys knew this was happening though, right? Haven't you talked about this in the past?
Yeah.
This isn't all sprung on people out of nowhere.
No,
right?
no, yeah. So it's not, and they've been preparing us for a long time. They're like, listen, we. And the problem with any game type like this is a power creep, right? So the only way so if you have a really good weapon, the only way you're going to use a different weapon is if you find something that's more powerful. So you need a better weapon. So what happens is they just keep making stuff that's better and better and better and better. And they try to make stuff that's different. So that way, if you go this style versus this style, but the players are going to use the most powerful weapon out there. So which is why when they went from Destiny 1 to 2, they kind of did that whole reset. It allowed them to go back to square one and say, okay, now we get to start from square one and just kind of slowly build up to that point again. So they kind of announced that they were like, listen, we don't want to do the same thing. We don't want to say, okay, Destiny 2 is over, now we're going to go to Destiny 3, but we want to stick with Destiny 2 and just keep going with it. But the reality is power creep is a big problem for us. It hinders our ability to design weapons moving forward and design encounters, because we have to design the encounter knowing that you have this powerful weapon. So they've been saying it for a while, and we're like, okay, we get it. We're not happy about it, but okay. And the issue is a lot of the stuff that they told us, we knew about. But they also keep a lot of things kind of under their hat until the expansion launches. So now the expansion's launched, and people can kind of dig into it and look at the data and look at some of the stuff that's been farmed in out of the database of the game and everything, and they realize, okay, so you've taken out, well, you can still get them, but 70% or 75% of the weapons in the game that are essentially sunset, meaning the power level of that weapon is capped below what the the requirement of the new content is. 70% of those weapons were removed, but you've only added like 20 something new guns to the new expansion. There's like one new armor set. There's it's for a game that people want to be chasing loot and always trying to get more stuff. The feeling in the community right now is you've taken a lot of stuff out and it doesn't seem like you're adding anything back in. So Bungie's response has been, this is they released the expansion, and the first week of the expansion they wanted it to just be a week for people to be able to get through the campaign, and then Destiny has a seasonal cycle, and they delayed the start of the first season till the week after the launch so that everyone can get through the campaign. So they said they always kind of walk this line between they want to tell people what they're going to get so that you know what the value is of what you're getting, but they also want to have surprises in there so that people can, just log in one day and all of a sudden there's this exotic quest that no one knew about. And then it's exciting, and then people jump on Twitch, and then they have to solve puzzles and do all this stuff. So they've always kind of walked this line between, and then what happens is they'll do that, but then they'll put it on a roadmap, and then people are like, oh, well, it was on a roadmap, so we knew it was coming. It wasn't a surprise. And they're like, yeah, guys, we can't do both. We either can tell you everything that's coming or we can surprise you. So, but it's the same when any new expansion comes out. Like the hardcore guys blast through it in 55 minutes, and then they complain about whatever is upsetting them. Where I think the those are like the squeaky wheels, right? But I feel like the majority of players, like the people that I've spoken with, are all like, yeah, the campaign's really good, the lore's really good, the new abilities are really good, and we're gonna get some tweaks and balances and new stuff to chase. So, like I said, it's funny, I'm level season pass level 4 or 5, and you'll be running through the area, and there's guys that are 45, 55, 65, and it's like, dude, I wasn't level 65 in all of last season, and there are dudes who are 4 days in. So a little bit of it is the guys who just go at it nonstop. But we got the new first raid in over a year comes out next Saturday, I think it is. So I don't think I'll be going for the raid jacket this time around. It's a pretty big toll to take on, getting prepared for that, and then spending all day trying to make it through that raid. But I will be watching on Twitch a couple of the the favorite teams that we have, and with Cyberpunk getting pushed back, I don't have to have Destiny fight with Cyberpunk for my gaming time.
Lucky.
Yeah.
So wasn't there something about Destiny 2 in Game Pass? Is the new stuff on Game Pass now? Or?
Yep. Yeah, so Destiny has been added to Game Pass, which is great for the console population, especially obviously on the Microsoft's platform. It is not on Game Pass for PC or Game Pass Ultimate, if you want to call it that. People asked specifically, is it going to be included on PC? And they said not this time around. I believe, and they didn't say this, but I think when they went to Steam, there's probably an exclusivity, time period that goes along with that. They did say that it is our goal to be on Xbox Game Pass for PC with the next expansion. And they said the same thing about cross-platform play. Cross-save was their big goal for last year, which they do. You can take your character across between Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia. So you can pick up on whatever console or cloud service.
So that one guy on
exactly,
Stadia?
Yeah. Adam is able to play on any platform that he wants. But yes, and they said the same thing. People asked them about cross-platform play, and they say that is our goal for next year. We wanted to focus on the cross-save for this year. So, but yeah, with whenever they bring, it's like when they went free to play. The population exploded, and it was really, really great because you had all different levels of players in there, and you could kind of help out some new guys, and then there were guys that really got into it. And the Crucible, which is their multiplayer, it was great for me because I'm not a fantastic Crucible player. So having a whole bunch of new, uninitiated, non-sweats in there for me to be able to kill was actually kind of cool. And then they eventually all, leave and do other things, and then I go back to being shot, instantly after spawning. But yeah, it's so Game Pass has the previous expansion of Forsaken. And Beyond Light is included with Game Pass, so it's great for the console population.
Very good. Now, with all the Lego, I have to wonder, like with all the Lego stuff that you guys are getting into, you think at some point in time you'll go to like full blown models, or stick with the Lego stuff, or?
No, I don't think so. And I've thought about that a little bit because like as I start to kind of search for different there's certain I'm pretty much a Star Wars guy, and then there's some other like Lego sets that I'm starting to get interested in. Like the Batman stuff is interesting. I've always loved the Saturn V rocket, like regardless of if it was a Lego set or not. So there's just certain kind of themes that I'm just interested in and I think are cool. But it's weird because like I love the Imperial shuttle from Return of the Jedi. And I've always loved that ship. It's one of the it's one of the white whales. It's one of those ships that was out about 10 years ago. It's like tripled in value. It's really hard to find. You'll, like once in a while you'll search for it, and you'll find like Hasbro toys, Imperial shuttle, and like like you said, like full on models. And I'm like, no, I want one made out of bricks. It's like I don't know. I can't explain it, but there's something about the appeal of Lego. And I remember there's some guys on some forums because there's a company called Lupin. I think it's called Lupin, and they're a Chinese company, and it's pretty much like knockoff Lego. But they make like exactly like the exact model, but like the pieces like don't always fit together right, and like they're a little bit wobbly, but like you can
Chinese,
exactly. So, and the people who buy that kind of stuff, they're like, I don't buy it because it's Lego. I buy it because it's Star Wars. So like, sure, I'll save 80% and I'll get this one. And for me, it's like, no. I do buy it because it's Lego, and I buy it because it's Star Wars. I want that quality. I want that, that experience. So, yeah, I don't think it'll evolve into models. I think it'll just evolve into more Lego. But at the same time, like we've already had the conversation that a lot of these models they take up space. They're not the cheapest things in the world. So we're gonna kind of focus our attention on. Okay, we're really interested in the space theme. So here's our space area, and here's like the town theme. So we'll have our little like Beetlejuice town in the attic where we can have like our little model trains or whatever if we want to go that route. And then we'll have like our Star Wars ship area, and it's like, all right, those are our themes, and then we're done, so it doesn't get out of control. So, and then who knows? Maybe in a couple of years we'll pick up some other hobby, but we're having fun with it for now.
We'll all be building Gundams together next year.
Yeah. Sarah used to build what do you call it? Warhammer.
Oh, really?
She didn't play, but they would like go to the hobby shop, and she was like, "Daddy, I want the lizard guys." So like she had like one of the first times I went to her house, she had like all these Warhammer figures like on a shelf, like all painted, and like, "Oh, you play Warhammer?" And she's like, "No, I just like painting the figures."
I did that a little bit. Same thing. I played the game a couple of times, didn't like it, but I like assembled and painted up a little army.
Yep.
So you're gonna be like President Business or whatever, where you like super glue all the Lego sets together when you're done?
I super glued one Lego set together once, and this was years ago before I like kind of like got my newly rekindled interest in Lego, and like it was like my kids were like just old enough where they were kind of into Lego, and I was excited about it because I was always into it when I was a kid. And so we started getting them sets here and there, and at first like they didn't really hold their attention, and like I was like, okay, like maybe they're too young. And then they started like getting into it, so but we would put a set together, and then within like a couple of days it was just in more pieces than it came in the box set. I'm like, how's it even possible that there's like more pieces than it started with? So one time I got frustrated, and I was like, all right, I'm super gluing this set together. And obviously this is not the right thing to do. Not only does it not solve any problems, so the super glue, it's like brittle. So if the set drops, it's still gonna like break apart, But now the problem is you can't put it back together because like the pieces are all like glued and weird and broken. So I try every time like my kids like go into like the pieces of Legos and they make a creation. I try to encourage that and be like, yeah, like you should be creative. You should be like exploring new things. It's like, but then they go to like this area of the table where we're like putting together a set, and I'm like, okay, except for this area, which we are currently following the instructions to build the Batwing. So, there's been a few comparisons to President Business. So we have to kind of loosen the reins a little bit and let the kids, have their fun.
No Craggle for Dad.
No Craggle. or we need to what is it? The Q-tip, the polish of Nail.
If you want to go full blower, you could just epoxy. Epoxy will just take care of it.
Yeah, it's
no problem.
Because when I was researching ways to keep models together, they say the glue is one thing, but the most effective way is to fuse the pieces together. So what happens is it's like
acetone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you take acetone and you put a little bit on there, and what it does is it kind of the plastic melts a little bit. So then when you put the two pieces together, they fuse. So now it's one piece of plastic. So they're you got to be careful because you're working with acetone. But I've read that that's something that some people do.
Hardcore, man.
Yeah. Yeah. A little beyond what I'm looking to do, but yeah, having tons of fun. And honestly, it's crazy because we're in the retro game and the video game kind of world, and you kind of fall into these little pockets on the internet where you find whether it's RF Generation or Cartridge Club or Nintendo Age and all these different places, and you just kind of start speaking the language, right? And then you learn, okay, now I know what complete in box is, and now I know it, all this stuff, and you get to these other worlds. And I mean, there's just so many, people, so many interests out there. So you fall into this pocket. Okay, now I'm in, Discords and Reddits and places with Lego people, and I'm learning all their acronyms. And the other night, just last night actually, there was so San Diego Comic-Con was canceled, obviously, just like everything else, and there were 3 sets that were going to be exclusive to that show that they've released online instead. They're still very limited because they didn't make very many of them. The first one was the Bespin Duel, which is Vader and Luke, towards the end of Empire Strikes Back. Spoiler alert. And the second one was Black Widow and Taskmaster, the Ambush, a little $40 set. And that one was just sold online. And last night, you guys familiar with the from The Empire Strikes Back, the Star Wars Nebulon B frigate? You might not know that it's called the Nebulon B frigate.
Yeah, I don't know the name, but if you know to see it.
Exactly. If you Google Star Wars Nebulon B frigate, you would be like, oh, that ship. So
is it the Princess Leia ship?
It's that's the Tantive 4. The one from that's the one from the beginning of Star Wars that they're fleeing the Star Destroyer. So the Nebulon B frigate is the one where Luke is getting his hand back put back on at the end of Empire.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of got a long spine, and there's a short, there's one little part in the front, a big part in the back. So they just made this Nebulon B frigate micro set that was going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. They just released it last night, and I'm telling you, the Discord, the people on the Lego Deal subreddit, okay, are you getting it? Is there a GWP? No, there's no GWP. You just got to get it. So,
GWP?
Yeah, so Lego is constantly doing gift with purchase. And everyone just refers to them as GWP. So I'll go into the Lego store every week, and every week there's a different gift with purchase, and it's crazy. Some people collect them, or they try to get multiples, one to keep, one to hold on to. And but the Nebulon B frigate, people were all waiting up last night at midnight to refresh their browser, PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
Just waiting up to refresh your browser and try to order one. So I was dead tired yesterday, and I was trying to wait up, and I was trying, and I just like a 38-year-old man fell right asleep. Woke up at 3 a.m. when the kid woke me, and then I looked at the clock and I was like, "Damn it!" But then I got up and I went to the kitchen. The laptop was there. Opened it up. I searched for it, Nebulon B Frigate. It was sold out on Lego.com because it sold out in minutes. Went to Amazon and it was in stock, and I was like, okay, so I bought it. And then I went back to the wife and made some coffee and like kind of woke up, and I started looking other places, and people were saying that it sold out like immediately on Amazon as well. But what had happened was there's a limit of I think 3 per person, whatever Amazon's limit was, but it let you order like 10. So what happened was everyone who like tried to order 10 within the following few hours, they probably got order cancellations like, oh, like the limit's 3, so basically like they like stock kind of came back in. So like when I checked the computer at like 3:30, just happened that they were there, so kind of lucked out and got it that way. But yeah, tomorrow is the Ecto 1, and then they just announced the Coliseum. It's the new highest piece count set. It used to be the Millennium Falcon, which is like 7,000 pieces, I think, and now the Coliseum is like 9,000 pieces. It's pretty cool looking. I'm personally not interested in it. I love Russell Crowe. I love Ridley Scott. I love Gladiator, but I don't need a 30-inch Lego Coliseum model in my dining room. I'm fine with the Falcon. So,
Yeesh, that's a lot of Legos, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and my mom like she kind of just laughs and throws her. She's like, hey. She's like, everybody needs a hobby. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
I could think of much worse things to do with your time.
Some people solder and fix electronics and TVs.
They do. I do. Yeah, I've got a lot of that junk around too. So you could probably take a soldering iron, some Legos, and
yeah, right.
I love the there you go.
I love my my Hako, my little blue and yellow.
Yeah.
What do you call it? My buddy Lance, who did the Retro World with, he had the desoldering gun, and I remember like
they're fantastic.
When I was using like the pump to like manually desolder stuff, and I'm like, the first time you do it, you're like, oh, this is so cool, it works. But then like cha-chung, bang, cha-chung, bang. Oh, that one didn't take. Cha-chung, bang. So I go to his house and he's got the gun, and he's just like, yeah, like the tip is just hot. So he's like, you got to give it a minute. He's like, get it on there, you'll see it melt, and then you just kind of hit the vacuum. And the first few times I did it, I was like, this is life-changing.
I know.
It's worth all of the money.
Not cheap.
Right.
But
hundreds of dollars.
Every penny.
Yeah, but if you're doing more than just like a hobbyist amount, like a tiny amount of soldering, it's going to save you so much time.
Yeah. I know. As soon as I got one of those things, I'm like, I would never ever go back.
Yeah, it's like
it's nuts. Kicking and screaming, drag me back.
Yep.
Well, cool. It's some Lego-rific stuff that you got going on.
Yeah, it's the thing is they're kind of scattered around the house, so it's like I can't even take any like cool. Sometimes like on RFGen or like whatever sites people like to be on, they'll do like a collection. Like here's my game room and here's the show, here's the all my display pieces. All my stuff's just kind of like scattered around my messy house, so it's like I can't even take impressive pictures because it's just like, it's a house that a family of 5 lives in and there's laundry everywhere. Also happens to be Legos up on the shelves.
I can only imagine that no one walked around your house barefoot.
Yeah. We haven't had any casualties so far. We've been there's been a few few close calls, few near misses. Like okay, slide over, all right. But also I am just because we have hardwood throughout our house. There's a few areas with rugs and carpets and stuff, but I'm almost always wearing like Crocs or like I have these like cushy like Adidas sandals that I wear in the house. So. Those probably have saved me a time or two.
I'm sure. Well, awesome. Well, Kelsey, have you gotten any Legos lately? Or?
I have gotten 0 Legos lately.
But you have one on the wish list, right? What was the Frozen set that you're looking at?
I might pick one up for my daughter for Christmas. We're looking at one of the Frozen castles.
Well, no, when you see BDSM on the outline, that has nothing to do with Legos, Bill. So what's new, Kelsey?
Not as much as Bill. Nothing that exciting. Well, I got a little bit, I guess.
Oh yeah, you do, Batman guy.
I got lots of Batman.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, like, I thought you bought a library or something, right?
My grandmother passed away last year, and unfortunate story, cut really, really short. There was some family fighting over inheritance kind of stuff. So I just stepped way back, and, you know, whatever happens, happens. I don't care. I don't expect anything out of this. And eventually everything got split between the grandchildren, and I got a check-in that was a little bit more than I anticipated it would be. So I took some time to think about, you know, what I wanted to do with that, what would honor my grandma and stuff. And my wife kind of acted as a care aide for her for a little bit when she was here. So I made sure she got a big chunk to do something fun with. We had a travel fund before all this COVID stuff that we ended up using on other stuff during COVID. So I replenished our travel fund. And then I was thinking, like, my grandma always used to buy me books. That's all I ever got for birthdays or Christmas from her. So I'm like, I gotta buy some books with this stuff. So I bought a lot of Batman books, a lot, a few DVDs too, but mostly books.
We're not talking folks like 5 or 10.
Right.
We're talking
And
like 50.
Yeah. Like he told me the dollar amount, and I'm trying to do it in my head. I was like, how many books is that?
I know. I'm like, that's what I first saw. I'm like, so you bought every Batman book ever?
No, I still have a wish list of stuff that I want to buy down the road. But so books are like just coming in every couple days from Amazon for the last 2 weeks, and so I've just been reading tons and tons of Batman.
So they're all different. So they're all different sellers. So it's not like one enormous, you know, like package.
No, I don't know. They're all like, most of them are from Amazon. There are a few from separate sellers, but they like ship me 3 boxes in the same day with 1 book each in them.
Isn't that crazy?
And they all came from the same place. So I don't know how they choose. And then one day I'll get like 10 in at once, and I don't know how they choose what to do.
Doesn't Amazon in Canada have like book discount day? Did you wait to get like a special discount, or did you just go hog wild? Or
I just filled up a cart, and when it looked good, I hit buy.
I love it.
So great.
Yeah. I don't use Amazon often. I don't have the expertise to wait for special timing. I didn't know that. So yeah, I've just been knee deep in Batman for the last 2 weeks, more than normal, and very, very much enjoying it. I've read some really, really awesome books lately that, I don't know, a couple that got me a little emotional, a couple that are just really, really cool, a couple that are just weird as heck, like all over the place. So it's really been really fun. But I did get some video game stuff too. I've got like a few pickups from my old store. They held on to that Godzilla game for PS4 for me. That's apparently really terrible, but really expensive. And I'm super excited to try it out.
All right. I saw that picture.
Yeah. Shiren the Wanderer, the DS Mystery Dungeon game.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. When I saw that picture, I was like, all right, yeah, that's you'll have a fun time. Yeah,
I've played a couple other Shiren games, but not that one. So I'm curious to check that out. Furu Park is a Wii game I've been looking for a while, and it's just like a Namco version of like WarioWare, basically, where it's like just crazy goofy little mini games, and some of them are based on old Namco properties and stuff. So it looked fun. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know if it is fun. But
what a terrible naming! If like I think if other people was like Namco minigame collection, people would be like, oh, but Furu Park.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things where if they renamed it, they would have sold 10,000 more copies, kind of thing. Yeah, because if you told me, hey, Chris, there's a Namco minigame collection you can play with your family, and it's a bunch of fun. You're gonna have some Dig Dug and some Xevious in there. I'd be like, okay, I'll buy that. Yeah, I don't know about Xevious. I'm pretty sure there's some Dig Dug stuff in there, though. I'm sure, Mr. Driller, it's all in there. Yeah. I've been getting together with some buddies. I think I mentioned on the show a bunch of times. I've got a friend I meet with, and we play JRPGs together a lot. So we know a lot of the same people. So he's got 2 other guys and myself together, and we've been coming over once a week to his place and playing multiplayer stuff lately instead of JRPGs. So I haven't played Digital Devil Summoner in a little while because we've been playing Aces of Luftwaffe lately, which is like a 4-player shoot 'em up. And it's got a skill tree and stuff. Like, it's nothing amazing, but the funny part is just playing with these guys because they're very outgoing people, and they make fun of whatever they can in the game. And the game is voice acted by people who are obviously German, and it's like Americans versus Germans, but all the American characters have really thick German accents. Really thick. So it's really funny. And once per level, one of the 4 fighters, like they all have their own little quirk to them where they like malfunction and they can't be useful. And sometimes they're just a downright hindrance to your team. So just third through the level, when everything goes crazy, you'll have some guy's plane fail and he like falls asleep at the wheel and you have to protect him for like 3 minutes and try not to die. Or one of them, he like gets in this crazy rage and he just drives around the area really fast, and if he crashes into you, you take a ton of damage. And
so you got like Slippy and in the Luftwaffe basically, or
basically it's like, I don't recommend this game. It's not fun. It's just fun to play with these people that I'm playing with. And
what's
then we
that
played
on?
I think it's on everything. We've been playing it on Switch.
Okay.
And then we played one called Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Yep, play that.
Yeah, that's a neat concept where you know, everyone mans a part of a ship that's bigger than you need bigger than the 4 people you have to man it. So you're always running around like, now I'm on engines, and you go get shields, and like, no, we need the top gun, no, get the bottom gun, and you're running around and you can upgrade your ships and stuff. I mean, we actually 100%ed that last time we played together. Wow. And
have you ever played Space Team?
No.
So Space Team is a mobile game. Just add it to your list. It's really, really, really fun. So, and real quick, the way it works is everyone, like, it's up to 8 people. Everyone plays on their phone, and it kind of like syncs up, like either like over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And basically, like, you all have to like you're the same thing. Like, everyone's got like a different control panel. So what'll happen is on Kelsey's phone, it'll say something like, like activate the Berglanger, and on someone's
I've seen this, yeah,
and on
like,
someone's
it's a few
phone,
years old, right?
Yeah, and on someone's screen, it's like, oh, I've got that, and like you got to find like the little lever for that, and like it's hard to explain, but it's really frantic and it's really fun, and it keeps getting faster and harder. We found it at PAX. They were doing it like this tournament for it a couple of years ago. And we kind of fell in love with it. So like every time me and this group of friends get together, and it reminds me a lot of Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Nice.
I was going to say another game that's team like that is, if you guys have played like Overcooked.
Overcooked
2.
Friend Ender.
They went through those earlier in the pandemic when I was locking down a little more. So I missed out on Overcooked, but they played
I need the lettuce.
They
play that one with your little kids.
Yeah.
No, if you wanna just not talk for the rest of the night. Go to your room.
All these guys are also big horror movie buffs, which I'm not. So they get together once in a while and they watch horror movies. But I do like horror video games. So I found out they played through Man and Medan together, and you can play those games where every human player plays a different character in the game. So they like pick like, okay, you're going to be Final Girl, and you're the first guy who gets slashed, and it's just like, play them like, this guy's just an arrogant jerk, like you could play him however you want, just be mean to everybody. And so they kind of role play these games like that.
Wow.
So I picked up Man and Medan and played through it, and Little Hope just came out, which is the sequel to that. It's in like an anthology kind of thing. So we're going to do that one tomorrow, which I'm really excited about, to play that with them, because it's just going to be goofy and silly and fun. And I picked up a really, really big game for me. I picked up Exile Wicked Phenomenon for the Turbo CD. It's both big because it's like one of the last Turbo CD games I need, and it was the last Working Designs game that I needed.
Congratulations.
Like across all platforms?
Yeah. I've got every North American Working Designs game now, and pretty pleased about that because I've been working on that goal for like a decade now.
That's
now,
big.
Do you count Spaz in there with them, because that was like their offshoot label?
No, I don't. I'll have to look into that. I'm not familiar with Spaz. Anything notable they put out under that label?
Yeah, they put some shooters out. Was under Spaz, and I want to say like Mr. Mosquito was Spaz. And
so was that mostly like around that era, PS2 kind of era?
Yeah, it was.
Was it all those like yellow like covers like Mr. Mosquito? Because I've got all of those.
I think there's some PS1 and PS2.
I
you have to look into it.
I bet you I just have all the PS2 ones because I've been collecting like crazy PS2. But if there's PS1 ones, I'm probably missing those. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah,
I
off
really
the top of my head, I'm trying to think. I know there were some shooters that they brought over and put out, but they didn't want to put them on their normal label because it was like RPGs and stuff. So they came up with Spaz as their kind of like off label for different stuff to bring over.
No, I'm going to look into that as soon as we're done here. I wasn't aware.
There you go.
Yeah. My daughter has been wanting to play games lately, and she's really into monsters and stuff, and just happened to be the day before Halloween. We were in my old game store, and they had a copy of Luigi's Mansion 3, so I grabbed that and introduced her to that, and she loves it. So we've been playing a lot of Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's really great to play with a 4-year-old because she can be pretty free to explore and experiment and get used to a controller. And she's getting really good at it now. She can help me, vacuum puzzles where you have to hold one trigger to vacuum something, walk away from it so you have tension on it, and then push a button to yank on that thing, which she couldn't do any of that when we started. And now that we're at the end of the game, she can do that no problem. And she just likes to look around for loot. You can find little gems hidden around, and there's money tucked into every mattress and cubby hole throughout that game, and all these little secret areas.
Is she good with the combat?
That's not her favorite part, but she can help me with the regular ghosts now. But when we get to bosses, she normally likes being Luigi because he's the one who controls the camera. He gets to choose which rooms we enter and stuff. So I play around with Gooigi. But when we get to a boss, she just switches me controllers and she runs around as Gooigi, and she can die as many times as she wants.
So, yeah. My guys love the exploration, but anytime there's any fight, they're like, oh, daddy, fight this guy. And I'm like, no, guys, you can do it. And because the combat's really intuitive, and just the mechanic where you have to scare them and then, whip them around. And it's no, guys, don't be scared. But the combat is
the regular guys she can do. But then once they have the ones with sunglasses or something, it's you got to figure out how to flashlight them. So you got to suck the sunglasses away or the shield or whatever they're holding. Those ones she gets frustrated with, but being able to play 2-player with her, it's not really an issue for long. Right. The only time we had a problem was literally on the last boss. Because you need both players to be proficient. So I asked her, I paused it after we died the first time, and I said, do you want to keep trying, or do you want to go get your brother to help with this? And she's like, let's go get him. So we brought her brother down, and she watched me and him finish the last boss off, and she was super happy with that. So we beat the game minus King Boo. We just had the ringer come in and help us out with that one. But it was super fun, and I'm trying to convince her. Because the same thing happened with Yoshi's Crafted World. We beat it, and I think she feels like she can't play it anymore because we saw credits kind of thing. But there's still lots of stuff to do in the game. So I've been bugging her to go back to it now, and she's like, no, I'm okay. But there's still lots of, she really enjoyed just hunting around for gems and stuff, which I'd be happy to do with her again, but can't convince her.
I think I told you guys, my kids love just starting games over again. They'll delete their save file. And I'm like, dude, all that work? And they're like, no, it's okay. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
My son's the same way.
Eden has played through a lot of these games. I've used up all my 3 save files. I'll just delete one and start over again. Because you're like, what?
Yeah. Or I'll say to him, Cameron's really, really liking Breath of the Wild lately, and he yells at me. I'm like, oh, you want to play Breath of the Wild? He's like, Daddy, call it Zelda. So, I'm sorry. So, but he's really into Breath of the Wild, and he'll I'll watch him do something. And then, a few days later, I'll be watching him play, and, he'll do that same thing. And I'm like, didn't you already do this? And he's like, yeah, that was on your file. Oh, so you just jumping around save files to do the same thing? He's like, yeah, I want to make sure I get it for everybody.
That's why more of those games should have New Game Plus. No, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, speaking of Breath of the Wild style games, I started Horizon Zero Dawn with my son.
Really? Gorilla, right? Surprised you're playing that one.
I knew he would enjoy it, so I wanted to try it. Because robot dinosaurs is a pretty cool thing for me too. So I was like, sure, the theme, I'm curious about. So we played a buttload of that today, and I think it saved me some money because I'm waiting for my PS5 to come in, which is a few days late, and I've been hearing lots of good things about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And
Yeah,
I
same.
haven't played an Assassin's Creed since the second one. So I'm like, maybe I should dive back in and enjoy this new Assassin's Creed. And playing Horizon, I'm like, no, I'm like, open world games are not for me. I don't need another one. So I'm not going to get Valhalla. So I'm very happy I played some Horizon today and got that out of my system again. Because, like, I like the story. Aloy's, like, really cool character. I really like her. The robot dinosaur stuff's really neat. I'm curious where it's going to go. And I may just end up YouTubing it because, man, like, I don't want to go up a signal tower and clear the map and go hunting and crafting and collect goodies. Like, none of that stuff interests me. So
That's why I was kind of surprised to hear you say that you'd play them. Like, that does not sound like your kind of game at all.
my son did most of the playing. I just kind of watched and coached, and then he let me try out a little bit for a couple parts. But he did awesome. He didn't die once the whole day, which was impressive to me because there was a few real close calls. You had to like, clear some bases and stuff, and you know, you start stealthing them, and then something goes wrong, and you got to finish the mission quick. And he pulled through it every time, which was really cool.
That's what always pulls me out of Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, if I stay in stealth, like, everything's fine. But, like, as soon as I'm caught, everything goes to hell. Like, I can't play that game, like, reactionary. Like, okay, I've been caught. And now I gotta kill these, like, 6 guys. It's like, no, like, I need to, like, slowly take them out one at a time. So, like, for me, as soon as I'm caught, it's like, all right, try it again. Like, I don't even want to try to, like, you know, save this mission.
Right. No, like, there was one that we just did near the end of our session where he's got to sneak into this camp, and we have like a war party outside of the camp, and we have to sneak into this area where they've got all this explosive canisters and blow them up to open up the wall, and then your soldiers come in and they kind of clear the place out with you. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, you have to fight the entire camp all the way to the cans and then blow them up, and then hope your team comes in and helps you before you die. And so that happened. He killed like one guy, and during the second guy, he got spotted and everything went wrong, and he just ran straight through everybody all the way to the cans and blew them up, and then like ran and hid for a minute to like get his bearings, and somehow pulled it out. It was really funny.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that fun? Like, kids are getting to that age where, you know, when you see your kids growing up and doing some things. And
Yeah.
You know.
I can't figure out what to get him for Christmas, and I showed him the trailer for that new Ubisoft game, the Immortal Phoenix Rising, because I keep hearing people compare it to Breath of the Wild, but with like a Greek setting to it kind of thing. And he's really curious about that one, so I might end up getting him that one too for Christmas, because he just seems to enjoy that style of game.
I can get it. Like, when you're young and you've got time, I mean, exploration is exciting. And
yeah, and he loves the crafting stuff. Like, even in this game, like, it's really basic. Like, you just like open up a quick menu and he's like, click, click, click. I just made 50 arrows. Like, it took him 4 seconds to do it, but he seems to enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the whole Minecraft thing, kind of, right? It's just,
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like Forager, which is one of the ones that I would mention if we talk about Game Pass at some point. But the boys like, they like to like, every once, like, we'll turn the Xbox on, and before we do something, like, oh, let's just see what's on Game Pass, and then we end up, you know, looking through the games, and I didn't say it, like, they were like, how about that one? They do, like, 'cause Forager, like, the dude, it's a little, you know, cartoon guy, and he looks like he's got a pickaxe, so, like, something triggers in their brain. They're like, okay, I'm gonna be mining things and crafting things in this. So we get Forager, and it feels like a mobile game almost. Like, you start in like a tiny little island, and you kind of just, like, you know, click a thing until you get another thing, and then you can just click more things. So it's just like a much simpler, you know, Minecraft type thing. But it's like, yeah, anything with crafting, he's like, I want to make that. Why? Oh, so I can make the next thing. Why? So I can make the thing after that.
There is no end point.
Yep.
That's the root. That's what it is. So.
Yep.
So if you notice, though, all my playing is not my typical playing where it's just like a list of NES games. It's because I haven't beaten an NES game in a while, because I've been stuck on Akari Warriors for weeks now. It's like
That's not surprising.
Weeks. That like, I've played a lot of really hard games, so I kind of felt, and I did a bunch of research into Akari Warriors specifically before I played it, so I kind of felt, I don't know, over prepared going into it. I'm like, this will take me a week at most,
Right.
and it's just slaughtering me. It's so hard. So I actually bought the SNK 40th anniversary collection for the Switch, because that game is on it, and you can do a save state and a rewind function. So I can I feel pretty confident on stage 1 and 2 now, but it takes 30 minutes to get through those stages to get to stage 3 and just try it. And if I get there and die in the first minute, I don't actually get to learn the stage very well. So it's going to take forever to practice it like I normally practice an NES game. So I bought this game, whipped through the first 2 stages really quick, and then set a save on stage 3. And I've just been playing stage 3 for the last 3-4 days. I'm feeling pretty good about stage 3 now. So I just have a save on stage 4 to try and learn that one. And there's only 4 stages. So I've had a no-death run on stages 1, 2, and 3. So I figure as soon as I can get a no-death run on stage 4, I feel confident enough. I just have to put those all together in one run now and then do it on the actual hardware. So I've been playing a ton of Ikari Warriors for 3 weeks, and I'm feeling like I'm 3/4 the way into it, kind of thing.
Wow. Have you ever finished it before now?
Not legitimately, no. There's the ABBA code.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to do a run like that when I first booted it up, just to see the whole game. And that's a really, really bad way to practice it, because when you die, you lose all your power-ups, and the game is insane without any power-ups. So that's
my problem with Gradius.
It's a bazillion times worse than Gradius.
Really?
Because the game is jank. The game is so jank. So without all your power-ups, your speed is so slow you can't dodge anything for beginners. Your grenade has no radius on it. Your gun has no range on it. You cannot shoot through objects, but enemies can. There's so many downsides to not being fully powered up in that game that it's just impossible to progress. So when you do the ABBA code, you start with nothing again. So that's not how I'm trying to play the game. I'm trying to beat it legitimately. So I have to get good enough to not lose the power-ups or find the hidden hearts that make you keep your power-ups when you die. And there's some mean things in the game, just when you beat a level, it will get rid of all your power-ups if you don't have a heart. It's almost like dying when you beat the stage. It's really silly. There's no free terribly.
Yeah, and there's no free men other than a few high score milestones that you can get. There's no other way to get men in that game too, so you can't do anything cheap and grind out men and you can't grind out a score either, because if you stand still too long, it just starts firing random missiles at you to keep you moving. It's brutal.
Have you watched other people play through it with commentary to try to get some tips, or you're just trying to do it all on your own?
No, I have done that many, 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 many times. I've watched some of the world record guys, which doesn't help too much because they use glitches too. So there's this helicopter glitch where when you get to the helicopter, you can just blow it up immediately and float through the rest of the stage with nothing able to hurt you. So that doesn't help me for that last half of the stage figuring out anything. But there are a couple guys that I've seen videos of that beat it legitimately, and I watched them, and there are some good things, they'll show me where some of the hidden items are when they're going through, but you really just have to learn the enemy patterns and which ones you need to blow up immediately before they even enter the screen. So you throw your grenade and then you scroll the screen up so the tank blows up before it has a chance to shoot you, kind of thing. So it's a lot of just learning the game.
I remember playing that one back then, and that was just because it was one of those early 2-player games, and there wasn't tons of 2-player simultaneous games, and so you played that one. It was just terrible. I mean, it was terrible.
It's mean. It's one of the meanest games. Usually when the game's really hard, it's because there's a specific part of the game is hard, so you just have to figure out that one part. But the whole game from start to finish is just mean.
Everything's jank.
Yeah. One-hit kills, and there's these guys, when you get into the water, your speed reduces even more than it already does, which is stupid. And there's these guys in the water that can duck under the water, and you can't hurt them until they pop out. And when they pop out, they take a shot, or they explode if you're too close to them. So you got to kill them before they get too close, but you got to watch out for their fire when they jump out. And it's really just a nasty, mean game. And the stages 3 and 4 have bosses, and pretty ridiculous little hallways leading into those bosses with just guys loaded up down both sides. I'm starting to get the hang of the third one. The fourth one, though, I'm like still just like learning that whole stage out.
That's probably, I would imagine, going to be one of the roughest ones you got left, right?
I had a list of like about 4 or 5 games that I knew were going to be tough, and this one I like honestly I didn't expect it to be as tough as it has been on me. But yeah, I still got like Championship Pool. I've played in the past, and that one's really tough because it's got this stupid random element to it. Mutant Virus is just supposed to be like there's a lot of randomness to that game, so you need a really really good run kind of thing to get through it. So it just takes a lot of attempts. Miracle Piano, I got to learn how to play keyboard.
That's dedication. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When somebody's like, "Oh, what do you got to do to be, all the well, I have to literally learn how to play an instrument."
I'm actually looking forward to that one. I've got a little bit of music background from like way back in junior high, so I'm hoping that helps out a little bit. And then the only other one I'm really worried about is Qbert. But after Akari Warriors, I'm like, Qbert's going to be fine. It's not going to be that bad. Like, I can play Qbert all day. You can at least earn freelman and stuff in that game. Learn some enemy patterns and things.
Well, very good. Well, I look forward to your, rendition of all the NES music once you learn how to play piano. It's,
yeah, that's a good idea.
I want to hear the
Akari Warrior theme is burnt into my head now. So
Yep. Yeah, that one's still in my head too. Don't worry. I understand completely. Well, cool. It sounds like it's been a busy month.
Yeah.
You started off and you're like, no, I don't have that much to talk about, but
well, it was mostly just going to be me complaining about Akari Warriors, and then I remembered all that other stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't mention any of the vinyl. I picked up a handful of records, but the Outer Wilds vinyl came in, which is one of the best records I've ever listened to. It's besides the music just being great, the record just sounds amazing. It's mixed really well. Sometimes you get a record in and like it just doesn't sound right, and like it sounds like too quiet, and then like it's weird because like you'll go from record to record with the exact same settings on the turntable and the receiver and everything, and it's like you could tell like they just like grabbed a mix off the shelf and like pressed it to vinyl, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to mix it for vinyl. And the Outer Wilds soundtrack sounds amazing. We got The Nightmare Before Christmas just came in. The family all loves that, so we decided we'll just get that and throw it on, and to prepare for Christmas decorating. We got what was the other one? The Castlevania Symphony of the Night came in. Borderlands 1 came in, and I think that was all of them. Yeah, so like
the Outer Wilds that you got, is that the one that came bundled with an extra copy of the game you didn't need that I was going to buy off you?
Yep. Yep. So what happened was it was like, so I've never ordered from Limited Run until I ordered this Outer Wilds vinyl. And it kind of irritated me because you could order the vinyl from I Am 8-Bit, and you could order the vinyl and the game from Limited Run. So I went to I Am 8-Bit and they were like sold out. And I was like, damn, all I wanted was the vinyl. So then I go to Limited Run, and the bundle was still there. So I was like, whatever, I'll get the bundle. I'm sure I'll be able to move the game, no problem. And so then like I put it out on the Slack, and then you were like, oh, I would definitely take the game if that works. So I was like, great, I got to buy it for the game. I'm good. And I just happened to notice like later on that same day, I Am 8-Bit was like, oh, okay, like yeah, we fixed our website issue, like they're back in stock. I was like, no. So it ended up going out of stock, and I've never ordered from Limited Run before. I didn't realize that it takes them like so like they'd give an estimate, which is like, yeah, it's fine, but like their estimate was like September, right? So like then September's gone, and then October's gone. Add
2 to 6 months for whatever that is.
It gets to the point where I don't even remember what I ordered, and it'll show up, and I'm like, oh yeah,
exactly.
I ordered that.
It's like the old Mitch Hedberg joke, like I love baked potatoes, but they take so long to cook. It's like sometimes if I'm not even hungry, I just throw a potato in the oven because by the time it's done, who knows? But yeah, I've heard people say that before. Is like just a Limited Run package shows up, and they're like, what the hell did I order from Limited Run? And then you open it up. Oh, yeah, 2 years ago.
So I know I ordered something a little while back, and honestly, right now, I can't remember what it was.
I'm waiting for my Shantae Game Boy Color card to come in.
Yep.
Okay.
So back to the Outer Wilds. Like a few weeks ago, just like I follow Blip Blop on Twitter, which is a video game vinyl, like kind of an aggregate site, and they're awesome. Like they retweet vinyl news and like releases and stuff like that. So they were like, oh, like I'm 8-bit just put up like some what do you call it, like found stock or whatever. Like, oh, we found like another case of them, or they hold them over for exchanges and they didn't need them, or like whatever the reason is. So I saw that and I was like, you know what? I'll be able to move the vinyl because, there's always a market for the vinyl as well. So I was like, you know what? I'm done waiting for limited run. I ordered it from IM8-bit, and like 3 days after it showed up, limited run was like, here's your tracking number. So now I've got 2 of the Outer Wilds vinyls, and I've got your game, Kelsey. So when I get your Christmas care package, that'll be part of it.
All right, we'll chat after the show and we'll figure that out.
Yep.
I had to just look while we were talking so I could remember what on earth I had ordered. I ordered a Genesis copy of Zero Wing when they did.
Oh, okay.
Did those. So
yeah, all your base.
Yeah, so next year I'll play Zero Wing at some point.
How much of your base?
All
of your base.
Well, yeah. I mean, so it sounds like you guys have some exciting stuff. I guess there's some exciting things on my side of things. I mean, as far as life goes, it's COVID land still, and it's worse now, so we don't get to go anywhere and do anything. So that's no fun. But the good news, here's the good news: the weather had been fantastic. I'm like literally a week ago. I mean, it was like one last weekend. It was warm enough that my kids were out playing in the sprinkler in November.
That's amazing.
We built a snowman.
Yeah. So
we've had some warm weather up here, like shorts and running around outside, but I don't think it's made it quite to sprinkler level. So that's good for you guys.
Yeah. Yes. Eden was like, "Can we play in the sprinkler today?" And I'm like, "Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We'll go to your grandma's and we'll play in the sprinkler." So. I'm like, this is definitely the last time that's going to happen this year. And then it was like perfect. So the weather turned cold, like a little earlier than this, like Wednesday or whatever. And Thursday was, new console day. Yeah. And
for some of us,
for some of us, I was sad to hear that yours. Who knows what? Like the dog ate it or what?
I don't know. It's just sitting in Edmonton is what my tracking says. It has not moved for 3 days from Edmonton. I don't know why.
And you bought through Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I don't understand because for me, I got my PlayStation 5 on Thursday. So
very cool.
I had not camped this whole thing out. I just got lucky. Back, like in September when they were talking about
16th,
it. Yeah. It's like just, if you follow Wario64 on Twitter, because that's what you do. And there's like, oh, hey, Walmart's PlayStation 5's up, Walmart. And I sat for a second, I went, all right, I'm not going to, I even sat there for like a minute or two. I thought, well, all right, I'll try it. Why not? And then the order just went right through. And I'm like, wait a minute, that is nice. I'm like, that's awesome.
Because I went like Amazon sold out, EB Games sold out, Best Buy sold out, London Drugs sold out, and then I was like, I'll try Walmart, I guess. And then the cart kept crashing, and then eventually it went through. And then I got an email from them like in the middle of October saying there was an issue with my card, so I had to call Walmart and like figure that out. And then they're like, okay, it's charged, everything's fine, you'll get it when it comes out. And then I got shipping notice on like November 2nd, which is 10 days before the console came out, that I was in Ontario. So I'm like, excellent, this system is in my country 10 days before it's going to come out. I will have it on time, and it's still not here.
So somewhere there's because they charge you guys the tax for stuff. So do you think they're going through it or what?
No, they charged me like the regular provincial and federal sales tax, but there's no import taxes or anything on my bill.
Oh, okay, all right. So who knows? Just
it's literally
the Canadian mail service. Is that the problem?
I don't know. Like with all the stuff I ordered from Amazon, like it's showing up pretty consistently. So I don't know what's going on with this. Not sure.
That's where. Well, so go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if is there any way, like, can you contact someone at your local post and say, like, here's the tracking? Can you guys contact someone at Edmonton? Or is there like just nothing you could do?
At this point, I might have been able to make a fuss, but at this point, like, the tracking says it's going to show up on Monday or Tuesday, and it's Saturday, so I can't do anything on a Sunday. So I'm just going to wait. If it's not here on Tuesday, then I'll start calling around.
But yeah, for me, it was just random. Just random dumb luck. I'll just be really honest. I shouldn't have got it. I just stupidly lucky. But
I was gonna do. It was like a couple days ago. They
just
said
like
they
Bill
were
and his
announcing
Nebulon
stock.
B
Right?
frigate.
Exactly. Just woke up. I'm gonna buy a PS5 right now. But I was gonna say, like, a couple days ago, some of the guys in the Lego raffle Discord that I'm in, they were like, there's like an off-topic chat thread, and they were like, oh, so is anyone going for the PS5? And some guys were, oh, like, I might, and they were like, oh, because Walmart was like releasing stock like every couple of hours. It was like, okay, it's gonna now be at noon, it's not gonna be at 2, now it's gonna be at 5. So every time it was coming up, I got like a reminder in the thread. They're like, okay, it's coming up. So I got on my computer, refresh. There it is. Okay, add to cart. And, everything's being slow, and it's the same thing everyone else runs into. Okay, now it's out of stock. Okay, next time, out of stock. Next time, oh, it's in the cart. Okay, check out. We're sorry, this is out of stock. So just the same thing everyone else goes through. So I did it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, all right, it's not meant to be. So I do not have an order.
I'm really glad I didn't have to wade through any of that, because honestly, I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I think I would just wait, because I don't like doing that. I mean, it's really
same.
Annoying.
I really don't like doing it.
Like, and we all have to understand that probably after the beginning of the year, it's not going to be that hard to come across these things. So
yeah, and it bothers me because like there's 2 experiences I've had where I had to kind of like wait in a virtual line on the internet to buy a thing that were fantastic. One is buying badges for the Penny Arcade Expo, PAX East, where it's run by Reed Expositions. So when you get on the website, you kind of join like this virtual queue. So you get in here and it's like, okay, click here to buy badges. And then you get in a virtual queue and it's like, all right, don't refresh your page. We got you. Don't worry about it. And it's like, you are number 3,436. And then you're number 2,000 something, then 1,000 something, then 800, then 400, and 300. It's like, all right, here's your 2-minute window. Nothing's going to happen for these 2 minutes. You do your thing. When you're done, we'll let the next person in. It's like, geez, someone has figured it out. Awesome that we have the technology. Let's do this. And then I had to buy Tool. I haven't been to a concert in ages, and Tool was touring last year for the new album, so I went to see him. And I went on Ticketmaster for the first time in 100 years. And it's the same thing. Like, tickets are going on sale. Click here. Okay, you're next. And like, same thing. Here's the queue. Here's your number. And then when it's your turn to buy, it's like, all right, here's your 2-minute window, and you click on the seat, and it's like, okay, this is in someone else's. So it's a little bit less good in PAX because they're like, okay, this ticket's in someone else's cart too. So like, so a few times I would click a seat, and I'm like, okay, I want that. And they're like, oh, someone else got that. Okay, that seat. Oh, someone else got that. And then the third one, okay, yes, you can have this one. But it was still like, the website wasn't crashing. Like it wasn't like a terrible experience. So it's like, I just find it amazing that, like, I know that these companies like Best Buy and Walmart and Target, they don't deal, daily with this like a Reed Exposition or that, like a Ticketmaster does. But I mean, this technology is out there, and it's amazing to me that for these instances where they need it, they don't have this on their websites.
Yeah, it's like none of them do too. You don't even have one good example.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would want something like that, because I would imagine everybody F5ing like crazy probably just crashes or like makes it terrible for the people that just want to like buy groceries or whatever, right?
Yeah. They probably see it as like a DDoS attack. It's like, why are there 90 million requests coming in at this instant when we told everyone we were going to have PlayStation 5s? Right. I wonder why.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so yeah,
Walmart.
Good on you for just being able to grab it kind of like on a whim like that.
Yeah, well, even Walmart was weird. Like, I got my information, and on the website it was just like preparing order. We'll give a tracking number to you soon. Okay. And then it just stayed that way. And I, like, the day before, because it kept saying like it's going to be here on the 12th. Okay. But like the day before, I'm like, well, I mean, if it's gonna be here on the 12th, I'd have to have a tracking info. I mean, I'd have to ship it by night. I could like overnight it. So anyway, I get on the chat and they're like, no, we're just gonna be there. Don't worry, we've got you. You'll get some information. And I was reading on Twitter where somebody was like, you can just go on FedEx and you'll see a package, and it's from this company. That's what your PlayStation 5 is, because they're using FedEx. And sure enough, I went on the FedEx thing. Yep, there you go. There's this package. It's going to be here on the 12th. Literally, I got the package. Everything else, I've still never received an email from Walmart. So, I mean, I don't know what happened, but I'm glad I got it. So, anyway, but I was really kind of perplexed at how that went. I've never ordered something like that from Walmart before, so...
No, me either. It wasn't my first choice. It was like my sixth choice.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ordered from Walmart before.
Yeah, I've never done that. But I mean, I'm glad. So anyway, it shows up Thursday, and I ordered Demon Souls, but I got that from Amazon because I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what I'm going to get. I know what to expect. So they both show up, and like literally about the same time when they got delivered. So I opened it up, and they're no joke when you see the pictures. The thing is ridiculously huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, just you're like, the box is heavy. Mm-hmm. It's giant.
Like my wife knows I'm getting this and I'm expecting it. I don't think she has any idea what it looks like or how big it is. I'm really curious what her reaction's going to be.
I can't wait. She's going to say, is that the fan that you got to cool the room to prepare for it?
The good news, at least for me, is it does not fit in the entertainment center part where, like under my TV where I normally have the consoles.
That's the good news?
Well, here's the good news is that it takes up relatively little space when you turn it on its end like it shows. And so I was able to tuck it behind the TV, like at the corner, so I could just pop around, pop the disc in, hit the button. But you really don't even see it now.
I keep seeing how tall it is. How wide is it? Because I think it won't fit where I want to put it either, and I'm going to have to put it somewhere else.
It's probably like PS4 wide. So think of like PS4 length, but maybe like another GameCube length stacked on top of it. I mean, it's really very long. But the width is about the same as what you would expect.
Oh, but you also have to have the cords on the other side, though, right? So it's different.
It's all out the back. Yeah, all the cords come out the back. I'll
probably have to stand it up in a different spot. That's fine.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever bothered to stand a console up because I've never needed to before. But it works pretty well. Yeah. And
I think I've stood consoles up. Like I've had them on. Like I have my TV's mounted kind of above my fireplace. So like a few times I had the Xbox up on the mantle just to be like away from the kids.
Yeah.
So just because there wasn't enough room, I've stood it up there. But yeah, in general, they just lay down.
My PS2, my PS3, and my 360 all have been standing up forever.
Okay. The way the entertainment stand where my my TV sits on top of it, and it just has the shelves underneath, so it's just easier to slot stuff and underneath that. But the good news, like I said, it fits back there perfectly because it's not, again, very tall, but not big otherwise. So it was no problem to set it back there. I will say a couple things about this, and then kind of talk a little bit about. But number one, the packaging, they've learned a lot. It's very Apple-like. When you open the box, it's like, okay, and then here's a little thing on the top with a little thing you pop up to pull the box out with. And then it's all the little compartments with these little pull tabs. And it's really put together really very neatly in how it all comes out. Because you have like this little box on the top. And here's your controller, and here's your cords, and here's your little get started manual. And, then you get everything that you need out of there. And the get started manual's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you've set up a console, you pretty much have the idea, but there's a couple things probably you would want to look at, because if you're doing like a system transfer from a PS4, just have it on and have it on your network. So that way when you do this, the console setup, it's ready and it'll just do it for you. So the controller is heavy. So Bill, think about like an Elite controller. Mm-hmm. It's that heavy.
Okay.
So
that's my regular controller, so it's about the same.
Yeah, it's got a lot of heft to it, where like the PS4 controller is not like paper light, but I mean, it's a lot lighter than this thing. And it's hefty. It doesn't feel exactly like a DualShock. So they've kind of, I think it's evolved a little bit. The feel in the hands honestly feels a little more Xboxy, but with the PlayStation layout. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think they've played around with that shape a little bit with it. But everything else is pretty much what you would expect. Obviously, you guys probably have seen. Thank God they got rid of that stupid light at the top. But it does around the touchpad, it glows. So there is color LEDs that are in there, and they can change it. So, I mean, most of the time it's the standard stuff, right? Like it's charging, it's orange. If it's on, it's whatever.
Right.
Different colors for different players, I imagine.
Yeah, and I've even seen, I didn't realize this when I was watching a video playing Resident Evil 3 on it. The color will change based on your health. And the game's
like green, yellow, red
yellow.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, neat things, I guess.
That's not even a PS5 game. That's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, everything pretty much plays. But when you take it out and hook it up and everything, it goes through a startup process, and it kind of walks you through everything. And it does it really pretty well. So it takes you through, obviously, like plug in your controller so it can sync it. And like before you even do all the setup, it says, hey, do you have a game on disk? If so, go ahead and pop it in. We'll start installing it while you do your system setup. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
you know?
Smart.
Yeah, so I popped the disc in, and I keep going through the setup, and it kind of walks you through the basic stuff, but also, like, do you want to do a system transfer? Do you have a PS4 stuff that you want to bring over? Because there's different ways that you can log in. You can do the PlayStation app. You can put in, of course, your login info. You have to kind of do that. But if you have the new PlayStation app on your phone, they just have, like, a QR code thing you can snap a quick picture of, and it takes care of all that, logging you in from the app. So that's kind of nice. And then from there, it's got a spot where you can do your system transfer from PS4. So it goes through, as long as your PS4 is on. Okay, here it is. What do you want to bring over? It's like, obviously, like your saves are there, but also like any installed games, you can check or uncheck boxes, like, bring these over. And then once you get past that, there's a little more setup that you're doing, but it just does that. It starts that process going. And so, whatever you've got there kind of happening in the background while you finish things up. And then, of course, it gives you a quick little tour of things, and then it drops you off at the menu. I will tell you that I was shocked and amazed at the system transfer speed. To get my PS4 stuff over, I brought over, I think, Bloodborne, Neo, Street Fighter 5. For installed games. I think those were the 3 I brought over. And then, of course, my saves. And we're talking a minute and a half to transfer all that stuff over from PS4. And if you've ever, you guys know, when you install a game on PS4, it's not fast, right?
No.
It takes a long time. And I seriously didn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute, no. Something went wrong, right? It didn't do that.
Right.
So I popped
corrupted my Neo file. No.
Right. I thought, I was like, what the heck? But yeah, it was just like, done. Okay. We're pretty much ready. And I'm sure if you had more. The big problem is like space. You only have like 600 something gigabytes free. Period. Before you even start installing anything.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
But, so I did that. I installed Demon Souls. Of course, there was a day one patch.
How big is Demon Souls to install? How much room does that take up?
Gosh, I would have to look. I didn't pay that much attention. I want to say it was like around 100 and something, maybe.
Because those other 3 games you mentioned, I think they're all between the 20 and 30 gig range. So you probably got about 100 gigs worth of those 3 games.
Yeah.
Or Street Fighter might be more, depending what you have. I don't know what your season passes stuff is like.
Patches and things. And so there was a day one for Bloodborne. But honestly, even after I was all done and it had to keep finishing installing, it really didn't take very long to down. Most of it was just waiting for that patch. The install part from the disc, I don't know, I wasn't even paying attention because it just did its thing pretty much in the background. It was just the day one patch. But I would say after I got done with stuff, I spent time fooling around with the system settings and the menus, and then I was ready to play.
So when you install the disc, do you still need the disc to play?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Same thing with PS4 games that you transfer over. If they were disc games, you still have to have the disc in it for it to authorize it. I will tell you one thing. The disk drive is crazy loud. The system itself is really quiet. So once you're done installing a game, or once it checks the disk and shuts it down, you don't hear a thing. Which is, thank God, because PS4 was crazy loud and PS3 was like a rocket ship or something.
See, I always heard that about the PS4, and I never really experienced it until I was playing Horizon with my son, and it was going crazy. I'm like, this is what everyone's talking about, the like jet taking off, because I really hadn't had that happen before.
Yeah, there were some games like Neo and stuff when you're trying to play it like in performance mode, and it's just it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Are you talking about specifically the Pro?
No, I've got the like launch, like original
me
PS4,
too.
not the Slims or anything else, just the old OG PS4.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I had the 1 terabyte Slim that came out, like the Spider-Man bundle, like a couple one or two Black Fridays ago, and I don't remember the disc ever being an issue. So maybe it was just the original model.
No, it wasn't
not
the
the
disc.
disc.
It was the fan.
Yeah.
Oh, the fan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like somebody turned a vacuum. I mean, it's not that crazy, but I mean, you can hear it.
It was that crazy today when I did Horizon. It was so loud.
You can hear it. You're like, is that okay? You're kind of like, oh, that's going to break.
I was like, save often, because I don't know when this thing's going to overheat and shut down. Yeah, but it never did.
Seriously, yeah. But PlayStation 5, I don't hear it at all. I mean, nothing. Except the disc drive. Man, when that thing is going, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I almost makes me wonder if like they maybe were thinking about going all digital and just kind of added the disc drive later, because
well, that's when you look at the two designs, it looks like they designed the disc-less one, and then they're just like, add this other bump in here for the disc.
It almost feels like that, because again, like you would think normally, like you would probably try to dampen the sound or something a little bit, but now they just like slapped it in the case. Like, whatever, here it is. But I mean, I guess it wasn't a big deal to them, because once you get the game installed, it's done. It shuts off. I mean, it's not that big of it's not a problem. So I mean, starting a game is just stupid. Like they advertise. I mean, I kind of thought when you did the advertise, like, oh, come on, man, really? Is it kind of like that? It is. Just push a button. There's the game. Okay. Like you're ready to play. There's no anything. You're just like, there's the game. Start playing.
So how do you get all your Demon Souls lore if there's no loading screens with an item and like a paragraph of text underneath it?
That's the thing. I'm used to playing Demon Souls, and like in between, it's like literally like 2 minutes of load every time you do anything or die. Or now it's just like the screen goes to a cloud for like, I don't know, 5 seconds, and you're done, and you're right there.
And they said that too. Like I forget who said it, and like one of the press things was like, it's so fast that they've had to slow it down. Like developers have had to slow things down. So like that's what's going to happen is like there'll be lore on so like the same like Skyrim, like whenever you fast travel or whatever, and there's like lore or something to look at. It's like they could design the game where they still have that, and you could just press the X button, like when you're ready to
when you're done reading.
to leave or whatever. Yeah.
So when the Mass Effect remasters come out, are you just going to be so mad that there's no elevator rides anymore?
It's that'll be like a special feature on the like the director commentary. We'll have a whole thing. I really can't wait. I've been thinking about playing those games again, so I'm really looking forward to that Legendary Edition.
I can't.
I know you were hoping for a Switch
there's
version.
There's conversations that take place on the elevators.
Right.
Yeah, that was another thing that got announced. Yeah, finally, Mass Effect.
And speaking of vinyl, I didn't even mention this. What a big dummy. The Mass Effect. There was a rumor that the vinyl. There's a Mass Effect trilogy vinyl set that's like crazy expensive because it's out of print, and there's a rumor that it was going to get reprinted. And it was kind of related with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So like the day that it got announced, like the N7, November 7th day, that's kind of this like unofficial Mass Effect like fan kind of like recognition day. Space Lab 9, who's a vinyl manufacturer, they announced like, yep, it's happening. It's the 4 LP Mass Effect Trilogy box set. It's going to be an exclusive pre-order on our website. I think it's like January 21st. So that happened, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this. My most wanted vinyl for years has been the Music of Destiny Volume 1 vinyl box set, the 6 LP set. Now, while that's not getting repressed, like Bungie announced, they didn't announce the details, but like on their weekly blog, they were like, oh, by the way, there's going to be like a merch refresh on our store like next week. And one of the images was like a record. So people were like, oh, like, so they're doing some more vinyl. That'll be cool. So they announced and like put up the pre-order for Music of Destiny Volume 2, another 6 LP vinyl set. It costs $10 more than the last one did, but it comes with a slip mat for your turntable, which I think is a nice trade-off. So I ordered 2 because I'm not going to be caught without this thing again. But yeah, I can't believe I forgot to mention that before. But yeah, the Mass Effect vinyl, the order is up in January, so that'll be another big set to add to the vinyl collection.
Remind me when that one comes out so I can get in. I like the Mass Effect music a lot. So
good, and the first track on it, it's something you would think it would be like the title screen or like some whatever theme. So I looked it up. The first track on the record is like, when like you're looking at the like you're like on the Normandy and like you're looking at the world map, like where am I going to go next? Mm-hmm. That's the first track on it, so it just gets you like I hear it in my head. I don't want to like sing it because it'll sound like an idiot, but there's some really, really good music on that soundtrack, like some really trippy, spacey, sci-fi, like exactly what you'd expect to hear from that type of game. But yeah, really, really excited for that one.
I'll just mention too. Bill, did you play Andromeda?
I did not. I had every intention to, and then it came out, and like just the storm of like the bugs and like I just remember like being looking forward to it, and then just kind of hearing whispers before it came out. It's like, it's not very good. Like the embargo isn't up until like a week after the game comes out, and that's never a good sign. And it came out. And I remember like it was super buggy, and there was like what do you call it? There was lots of like screenshots and video of like like facial expressions not looking right, and, like eyes bugging out, and like Assassin's Creed style, like just like eyeballs like everywhere. So I remember thinking, I'm gonna wait until they fix this, and then I remember like really, really quickly, like through like 2 months after it came out, it was like $10, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother.
Well, only reason I just want to mention real quick before we kind of get back into other things is EA plays on Game Pass now, so you can go play it.
That's right.
Gratis.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would say it's worth a play. I will say it's not up to par. It's worth a play.
I've heard, I like 6-8 months after it came out, there was an article on Polygon that was like, Andromeda is a mess and absolutely worth your time.
Yeah,
and I read the article, and it was like, don't think you're going to get a Mass Effect 2 or 3. No. Just go in fresh. Just keep an open mind. It's worth you playing through it once. So I've had it on my radar, from that point.
Well, I would highly encourage you to check it out. I think you'll have fun with it, just knowing what it is and going in. Yeah, I think you'll have fun.
Gotcha.
So. Some of the stuff, obviously, with the PlayStation, there's been a lot of coverage. I don't have to go over everything under the sun that's there, but I will tell you that the haptic feedback is more than what I had. Originally when they said that, I thought like, oh, okay, it'll be like the Xbox with like rumble triggers and things. And that's kind of what I expected, but this is really very different.
You're talking about the resistance on the triggers?
No, they can. There's a motor build. They can fight you. Right. So, like for example, okay, I'm telling like Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a bow, right?
Okay.
And so you use the trigger to shoot an arrow. Pretty straightforward. But when you're going to shoot an arrow, so the trigger goes about halfway down, no problem. And when you get there, you feel it catch, and then it's a little harder and slower to pull back. So it's like when your person, they're like going, they draw back. The first part's the easy part, right? and then they have to pull it back. You can feel all of that because the first part's the easy part, and then you feel it like I'm pulling that bowstring back.
Extra tension.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's kind of more than what I bargained for. And I will tell you, at least Demon Souls, and I'm at, there's not a lot of PlayStation 5 games to check out right now, but that uses the speaker on the controller a lot. I mean, a lot. So you have a lot of it. Really,
so just scream, "You died" every time.
No, but I mean, like, there's a lot of it's in the sound mix of the game. So like you're hearing.
Will you hear like sword clangs and stuff?
Yeah, like things that would be close to your character. You're hearing those sounds come out of the controller.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like, so, like, if you like step on something, like you'll hear
like a box breaks, or a sword clangs, or you're doing like a backstab. You'll hear the noises.
It'd be cool if you would hear like rats scurrying around your feet or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they use it a lot.
Right.
So,
is it something that you would hear out of the speakers and you also hear it through the controller? So it's like built into the mix, or it's like only out of the controller, not out of the speakers.
It's only out of the controller, so it's a part. It's like a whole separate speaker.
It's a whole nother channel, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you're doing headphones or something, it's probably all just mixed together. But it really, I mean, it's tinny. It's a controller speaker.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sounds pretty good. So, yeah. I mean, you guys probably don't want me to talk about Demon Souls, although it's awesome and just they didn't change much, which is like I thought. Oh, okay, they're gonna change this because
you're happy with the world tendencies.
Yeah, it's too out there and wacky in some parts for normal people to want to be a launch game. Nope. They added one quality of life feature, which I applaud them for because it's a big deal, and that is because you have burden in the game. It's like Skyrim or something. You only carry so much crap.
Sure.
But what happens is it's not like in Skyrim where you become over encumbered, move slowly. You just can't pick crap up if you're full. So what they did in this new version is they let you, with a button, just send anything that you can't carry to your home inventory, your storage box, so you can go get it later, which is huge because in the original game, like if there was a unique drop and it was there and you couldn't hold it, you either had to drop some other crap and pick it up or it was gone and you weren't going to get it. So that was a really good thing. So, the multiplayer is fantastic. I've been having a great time. It's a beautiful game. Even if you're not a Souls person, I still think you could enjoy it. Maybe it's still very punishing. There's no easy mode, but you can have multiplayers that you can bring in now up to 2 people to help you. So that's a little easier, I guess. But you can also have 2 people invade you. So, anyway.
Oh, like tag team you?
Yeah, because you can get up to 6 players.
Rather.
You can get up to 6 players simultaneously. So you could have 3-on-3s. Yeah. So you could invite 2 phantoms, and then if you have 3 of you, then you can get 3 invaders, and you can face off if you wanted to go that crazy. And then what was the coolest part, and then I'll move off this because I know you guys aren't big Demon Souls or fans, but I won't want to ruin anything because Kelsey, I would recommend maybe playing it at some point in time. But there's this boss fight, and I won't say much other than you get to participate in the boss fight. And there's certain ways that this happens. And that was totally broken in the old version because it's been offline for a long time. And then it happened for me really quick. And I was like, this is awesome. It's amazing. So, yeah, I would say it's really enjoyable. And just for backwards about right before the call here, Maddie wanted to play Undertale. And so, we're like, okay, we'll install it on the PS5. I mean, I understand, granted, it's a small game. I mean, but installed in 10 seconds, or something. It was really fast, and she was up and running and playing. So, very impressive. And, just like Mass Effect Remaster is coming out, the Neo Collection is coming out for PS5. So, and your old saves will work. So I'm going to get to be able to just drive right over into the new version next year. So yeah, a lot of cool things. I'll still plan to get a new Xbox after the beginning of the year when I can save a few more shekels. But yeah, I mean, it's a great system. I'm really curious and excited to hear your thoughts. I'm guessing because you just got Miles Morales. Is that all you've got coming?
Yeah, I was planning on having Cyberpunk shortly after, but that got delayed again. So gotta wait till December for that now.
Okay. So is that just going to stick with that one game or try something else? Or
if I go into my old store and they have a Demon Soul sitting there, it'll be pretty hard to resist.
They may not have one sitting there, but...
Oh, I know some guys who might keep an eye out for me, though.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, but so that's been really interesting. Not been long. I mean, it's only been a few days, but I've been playing way too much Demon Souls.
Yeah, hopefully by next show I'll have mine, very hopefully, and then we can, send some stories back and forth. I'm really curious about the Astros Playroom, too. I've heard lots of really neat things about how they use the controller in there.
I haven't fired that up yet. So I've been so busy playing. I haven't.
Apparently, it feels like a Nintendo game, both in like how it's creative with the controller, and there's just like tons of like fan service from Sony throughout the generations in there. Little Easter eggs all over the place from Final Fantasy and God of War and like everything they've ever done.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot. I'm probably gonna, because it seems more like a kid's game, so I'll probably let Eden and Maddie play around with it a little bit, but I'll give it a shot too.
Cool.
I mean, it's nice. It's a freebie. They don't
totally, yeah.
It's kind of surprised that they decided to pitch something in, but I guess this is kind of like that Nintendo, hey, let us show you what the controller can do kind of thing.
Yeah, because like even from what I've read, people like you could feel the textures you're walking on. Like they're like when you're walking on sand, it's different than when you're walking on ice, than when you're walking on solid ground, than when you're walking in water. Like you can just the tactile feel of those haptics are like changing with everything, like so slight that it really feels like all these different surfaces.
I can imagine, because like I said, that controller has a lot of heft, and so it must have a lot of obviously it's got motors for the triggers now, but I mean they must be very variable. They must be able to do a lot for it, because you can really feel that it's not just your standard rumble. It's not on or off or a little faster, a little slower. It does feel kind of different. So, it's like just the no load time thing is the part that just, you feel like you're back to playing cartridge games again.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest part, where it's like the first couple times you're just like, wait a minute, what? And so I'm really excited for the Xbox too, because obviously I got truckload of Xbox games, and that's. You could have just given me probably that for this generation. Getting all my time back from loads is going to be... Because I don't have a lot of time to play a lot of time, you know what I mean? And then if I have to wait for all these loads and installs... if that goes away, man.
I mean, being that the game I play more than anything else is Destiny, and I was playing on console up until Shadowkeep, and the console performance just was steadily getting worse and worse and worse, and like just it was always like, guys, like... Again, it's an online game, so like you boot it up, and like you gotta wait for it to hit the servers, and then you gotta wait for it to log in, and you're in orbit, and you gotta go to a planet, and it's like you had to go to this guy to get your bounties, and you gotta go to this guy to get some materials, and like it was the same complaint every couple of days on Reddit. Like it was like it takes like 15 minutes just to get ready to play the game. Between all the loading and all like the busy work and everything, and when I moved to PC, it was like that was the biggest difference when you have the performance and the SSD and like the extra hardware, and you just load the game up and you're in, and you go to fast travel here and you're in, and just having more of that time back, like it's one of those things that on paper doesn't sound like that big a deal. Oh, it's going to load faster, and then when it's in your hands and it's working, it's like, this is amazing.
Like I said, it feels like you're back to the cartridge days. It's that fast. So hopefully they can get some memory upgrades that are available at not $7 gajillion at some point. I mean, like right now they're saying like for PlayStation 5, like there's no certified additional storage, period.
Oh, for storage, yeah.
And you can't even, at this point, put your PS5 installs on an external hard drive to archive them for later. So I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, it seems like that you would assume that's a feature that they're going to have at some point. So
I can understand for launch it's not a big deal, because I mean,
right.
even if you bought all the launch games, I mean, what is there like 2 or 3?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
Yeah,
really do.
there's a lot.
Some third party stuff. There's like
There's Call of Duty.
there's Call of Duty. There's Assassin's Creed. There's Watch Dogs. There's Spider-Man, Demon Souls, Sackboy,
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, but like you look at those and like I think Call of Duty is like 130 gigs install,
Okay.
and Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed's probably 100 gigs install. Like,
Yeah. But if you
Destiny
bought
2
just like
is
the big
Destiny
ones,
2 is right around like it's between 70 and 90, I think.
yeah,
Somewhere like that.
now is
and
that
that-
on
and that-
PS5 now?
And that has shrunk. Yes. So the Destiny 2 is cross generation. So you get it like if you have it on your your Xbox account, it will go forward to the Series X, and the same thing with PS4 to PS5. The like enhancements, they couldn't make it for launch, so they're coming like December week 1 or something like that. So like it just plays the same way it would on your PS4, probably with better loading times. And then like in like early December, like you'll actually get like all the like the enhancements for like the what do you call it, like the 60 frames per second update and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, and I'll be interested to see Xbox when I can afford one. But I did find out that my TV does support 4K 120. So
Nice.
for any games that can do that.
I'm still waiting for a work payment to come through, and then whenever that does, we'll probably be upgrading our TV.
That's right. You were looking at the OLEDs, right?
Yep.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I bought my first
Amazing.
4K Blu-ray in anticipation, so whenever we get that, I got some Terminator Dark Fate waiting for me.
Get you one of these LG OLEDs.
Yeah.
It's shocking how good it looks and how, I mean, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's fantastic.
I have like honestly like I've got Vizio screens, Samsung, TLC. Like I have no problem with whatever brand TV you want, and I know a lot of people are really into like, oh, I don't care, just get me like a cheap, get me like the $200 or $300, like 4K, TCL or whatever TV. I'm telling you, like I really really don't like being like snobbish with TVs. But when I see the picture on some of these, like it just looks washed out. It just looks like completely like wiped over, and it's and the OLED in the display room doesn't even do it justice because it's in a room full of fluorescent lights, right? Like I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
you
like
turn your lights out in your living room.
the OLED in someone's house with the lights out is like looking through a window.
Yeah, that's the whole weird part is that, yeah, OLED in the dark, if there's any part of the screen that's black, you just don't see the screen.
Yeah,
I mean,
Schwarzenegger just walked in to my house.
it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I know it's crazy expensive. I don't recommend it for everybody, but splurge on yourself. Get one that the family can enjoy. Put some cheap TVs elsewhere in the house. I get it. But yeah, I'm really excited to hear what you've got to say about it, Kelsey. And Bill, when are you gonna hop on the bandwagon? Are you gonna do a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, or what are you thinking?
I'm probably gonna go for the GeForce RTX 3080 for the gaming setup. That'll be
the big boy.
Yeah, no, this is the medium boy.
Oh, okay.
There's a 3090.
Yeah, so the 3070 is the entry level boy for the in the new GeForce RTX series. Then there's the 3080, which is the $500 card. Seven. I gotta look at my prices. But then the 3090, which is the big boy, that's like the $1,200 to $1,500 one. That
For a
one's
card?
that's like, remember, like the money is no object for like the 1% to 2%ers, or like the guys who like they just want all the frames. So the price to price performance ratio is not good. But like it's they're like, here's the biggest, beefiest
right?
Exactly. That's the guy. So the thing is, for me, I've got a GTX 1080 that's been a workhorse of a card. It's awesome. The 2080 has been like, their big series for a while, but the 2080 was only been like 20-25% faster than the 1080. So I'm like, am I really going to spend the $500-$600 for like 20%? Or like a little more than that, like 35-40%, depending on like the the game you're running. But the 3080 is almost twice as fast as the 1080. So that's usually where I like to do my upgrades if I can get twice the performance. So I've got some Amazon gift cards that I've been saving up. I'm not counting on it, but we have a vendor at work who we do a lot of business with, and they gave me a nice little Amazon gift card last year that would almost be able to cover the 3080. So
Nice.
I'm considering that. I think we will end up with a Series X at some point, but at this point, with Game Pass and with already having the Xbox up there, it's probably one of those things that probably won't get until there's something that pushes us towards it a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, right now, that's the whole thing. It's like there's nothing exclusive at all, right? It's all just looks better, runs better kind of thing, right?
Right.
So, I mean, not that that's a bad thing at all.
No.
But,
it's like with any console, usually you like to have a game that's like, okay, here's the game that's like, here's the Mario Odyssey, or here's the Breath of the Wild. You really want to have that experience, but yeah, it's at this point, and I think that's what I'm seeing like a lot on Twitter and just kind of out there is like, it's they cost what they cost, they're great, they do what they say they're going to do, and they're going to be the same price in 6 months, and there's going to be more stuff, so it all depends on your situation, and if it's worth your, if you say it's worth your $500 right now, then it is, and you should get it. So if you don't think it is, then hold off a little bit. But the experience is exactly what they said it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't know if I would encourage anybody to try to go through torturous means to try to get one. I mean, I wouldn't have done it. But if you have the opportunity, that's pretty cool. And I'll report back, in months when I can get a new Xbox. But I'm waiting till after the holiday thing is over, and there's stock, and I can just go to Amazon and click a button, and it shows up.
Right. Now, is Game 2 on the horizon for you? So you have your Demon Souls.
Yes.
And then what is the number 2 game for you?
Neo Collection, I think, comes out.
I was just going to guess that.
What's the
February,
date?
I think.
Oh,
February.
really? So there's no chance of another PlayStation 5 game before February for you?
I don't think so.
We'll talk him into Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
He
maybe
might
you
get
guys
that
can
on
talk me into
Xbox One.
Cyberpunk, but I don't know. I've been blasting through Demon Souls. I don't know. I might churn through that, but I'll probably try to platinum it. That'll at least give me a lot of content. But I've been blazing. Beating it won't be a problem. I'll say that. It's getting all the trophies that will be the challenge.
Did you platinum it on the previous version?
I did on PS3. I will tell you that's probably one of the hardest ever.
Really?
From all the stuff you have, all the weird.
Are there
all
different
of these things you have to do?
Are there different trophies in the PS5 version than the previous one that you did platinum?
I don't know. I haven't researched it.
Okay.
From what I've seen, because some of them are hidden, of course. Most of them seem.
Tried the hint mode that's built into the PS4? I've heard about.
Man, who do you think I am? No.
I know you don't need to. I'm just curious how it functions.
Yeah, especially for a game like scholarly
that.
Researcher.
Maybe after I play through the first time, I'll check it
because that game's all about self-discovery and exploration. And they feel really bad for this style of game specifically.
Yeah,
is that part of the game or part of the console?
It's part built into the console, and then the developers can choose to use it or not.
Gotcha.
And it's even weird.
Launch stuff's using it to show it off.
In the menu, the options for the system itself, system level stuff, they did. Yay! Some of the stuff that I can't believe. Remember back in the 360, you could set preferences I like my vertical axis flipped, right?
Yeah, there was
for driving, I like this.
And there was even one that was difficulty level. What do you like your default difficulty level? And it was oh, it's such a good idea. And it was all up to the developer if they used it or not.
The PlayStation 5 has all that stuff. So default difficulty level on a game. Yeah. On a game, do you like performance mode or do you like high quality mode? Do you do you for first person shooters? Do you like your sticks inverted? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's all system level. And also one of the things is like, do you want warnings about spoilers?
Yeah,
There's a system
cool.
level tag for that. So yeah, I'm
and
like, yeah, I don't want
audio
spoilers.
stuff too. Like you can have subtitles automatically on for everything,
Yes.
and volume settings for like music and sound
cool.
effects and dialogue and stuff.
Yeah, and even like what dialogue track you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
If usually it's like default for your region, but you know, if I always wanted Japanese dialogue or something, you can set that to be the default.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, but these are not new ideas. Like the 360 did tons of this stuff, but like
Sure.
Xbox dropped it for some reason last time
Right.
around. It was a dumb idea. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool. Some of the feature stuff, I guess, I don't know if they support it yet. They're talking about like, you know, not that I have it, but like on the box, it's weird. It says 8K. It supports 8K.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But like Digital Foundry did a video and they're like, it doesn't support 8K. It's like it doesn't even, not an option for that. So
Right.
it must be something coming. Not that I
Yeah.
care about 8K, but
Yeah, it's I think I read a thing about that too, and like they were saying that it's like that like it supports like 8K like video that was encoded in 8K will like play back on it, but like it doesn't actually output 8K, which is a weird thing.
yeah, I'm like, why did you even put that on the box? I'm like,
Yep.
is anybody looking for some like, what's the 8K console that I like? Trust me, dude, this thing, it's a nice machine. Right? But even what they've talked about with the specs, if you want like 60 frames per second in some of these games, the performance mode, you're probably not getting full 4K.
Right.
All right. Don't talk about 8K.
Right.
Forget that.
Yeah.
Just forget that part.
I really feel like it's such a marketing thing because like when think about like how, you know, you talk to your friends about the consoles and you talk about, hey, the new PlayStation 5's coming out. And then your friend says, okay, like what's new about it? And you tell them the benefits. You tell them like, oh, this controller is great. The other load times you wouldn't believe. The network has been greatly like all this stuff. No one says, oh, dude, it's 4K now with the ability to go to 8K.
Right.
No one cares about the Ks. It's give me something that I can like touch, feel, see. Like those are the benefits. So that's why we always argue that frame rate's more important than resolution.
Absolutely. And so that was my system default. I put on performance mode. You can keep the Ks. I want to play buttery smooth.
Give me HDR and frame rate over Ks.
Absolutely. Because I mean, my old eyeballs, I'm not going to tell that much of a difference. I'm just telling you.
I got 1K eyeballs. I don't. You throw more than 1K at me, it's wasted Ks.
But yeah, that's it. And I would be curious from our listeners, right? If you guys have gotten a new console, you know, let us know, or just shoot like a tweet, or I'd be curious what other people are thinking, or what you guys picked up, or are we missing some kind of showcase title? I mean, I've tried to keep up on the news, but I'm old and I just bought some stuff.
Yeah, I do find I don't know if it's just being older or just like the change in habits, but I've gone from someone who plays like a billion different games all the time and stays up on the new stuff to like I kind of like almost like a little bit like you, Chris, where like you're like, you know, I kind of have a good idea of the things I'm going to like, and those are the things I wait for, and those are the things I play, and that's kind of where I land. And I still kind of get caught. Like I'll catch myself where like, oh, this game is, you know, this game's on sale, I'm gonna grab it, and then I grab it, and then like when it comes time to sit down and play something, it's like I'm gonna play Destiny. Even though I just bought that game, like I should play that game I just bought. Nah, I'm just gonna play Destiny.
Some Vanquish, Bill. Come on.
That's what I was thinking of. I didn't want to say because you told me that's the one that you think I would like of all the
platinums.
Of all the platinums. So.
And you can get Vanquish and Bayonetta now together. Right?
I don't know if I'd ever play Bayonetta. It's
pretty cool.
I know, but I've never been good at an action game.
Okay.
So like I've tried, and I haven't tried a ton of them, but like, you know, a little Devil May Cry, a little.
Like, yeah, did you? I was gonna say Devil May Cry. Did you like Devil May Cry?
I liked it. I wasn't good at it.
It's very Devil May Cry.
You can beat Devil May Cry without being good at it. It's just if you want to go back and get all those S ranks, you have to get good at it. And Bayonetta is the same way. Like you could just beat the game really sloppily and just have some fun with it. You don't have to go back and do perfect levels.
Yeah, you could button mash.
I think I'm afraid of it, and I think part of what has me afraid of action games is Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, yeah, it's not Ninja Gaiden.
It's not mean like that one.
Okay.
Not at all. It's just flashy and fun, but like Kelsey said, you can take it to the nth degree if you want to. You definitely do not have to. You just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like
and they're very silly games too. They're not super serious like Ninja Gaiden was either. Like they're just fun characters and silly stories, and
And it understands what it is, right? So it's like it lets you in on the joke, like we know too, right? So,
right.
And, but like you're talking, like know your niche, just like Kelsey, you mentioned a minute ago, like, right? Oh, I thought I'd play an open world game, and nope.
It's been a couple of years, so I forgot, and I remember now, and I will take a couple of years till I forget again.
I understand. I never finished Far Cry 5. It lost me at some point, and I just went like, eh.
I really, really, really liked Far Cry 3 and really, really liked Far Cry 4. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. I liked Far Cry 5. It's a little bit like when you say Andromeda, right? Like it's not Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4, but I'd say if you like that kind of game, it's worth your time. And you might get, like I thought a lot of people like gave it a lot of crap for not getting like taking a political stance. I'm like, the only reason that happened is because they said it, in the, where they did, and in the U.S. and they added, like that kind of angle to it. But the end of the game is bonkers. Like the ending they went with like spoiler alert, like complete. Okay, seriously, spoiler alert. You ready? Like complete nuclear destruction.
Sounds like America.
And you just end up like in a bunker where like the nuke has gone off up top, and then like you end up like leaving the bunker, and it's like, all right, here we are. And it's almost like the game ends like where Fallout begins.
Far Cry 5 to me made the mistake of being too much America for me. And I live in America, and I've had plenty of America.
Yeah.
For a little while. I don't need more. I've got enough here. Thank you.
So because everyone was asking, to bring it back to a Lego reference, there is a Lego architecture series where they do like buildings or Statue of Liberty or like the Guggenheim and different things, and there is a very, very nice looking Lego White House set, and these sales have been down on this set for a while. The White House has an image problem, like it's just the way it is, right? And it's one of those things, like, I think it's the same thing with Far Cry 5. Like, it's, and as much as people argue this, like, whether or not video games are an escape, a lot of people see them that way. And they get home, escape. You get home, and you want to sit down, you want to not think about, your job for the next 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever. And when you sit down and when you see, the same type of thing that you're seeing, that you're trying to get away from, it just kind of puts you in this mindset of like, I don't feel relaxed, doing this.
Yeah. That's kind of the way I felt about it. Like, I'm like, I don't like any of these characters. I don't like my character. Yeah. I don't like anything to do with any of this. Yeah. None of it makes me happy. So
it wasn't as compelling as 4.
No, because then it was quirky and it was interesting and it was different. Yeah. And it was a little tongue in cheek in places. Yep. And 5 was like, nah, let's just hit you with some heavy crap that sucks.
Yeah,
okay?
And Kelsey would have appreciated it. He mentioned this earlier when he was playing his open world game. So obviously it's a staple of open world games, especially Ubisoft games, that you climb a tower to like open up the map for the area. So, and this has happened in every Ubisoft game ever made, every Far Cry game, especially. So, like the very first place, like you kind of wake up, or like you start the game on this island. There's this guy on the radio who's like, "Oh, hey, I'm your guide for this island," and he like sends you someplace, and he's like, "I need you to go to the top of this tower just to make sure like you get the radio working." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you climb every tower that you see in the whole world for the rest of your trip here." And it's like the only tower you ever climb in the game. Like they figured out, hey, let's just give the player the entire map of the world to start out. It's like, oh, cool. I don't have to climb 45 towers in this game.
Ubisoft's been really striking out for me lately with their titles, so hopefully they come back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Siege is pretty good if you like that kind of game, but yeah, what's the newest Ghost Recon kind of has a bad taste in my mouth, and there's nothing else that's really on my radar for them. I loved Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2.
Yeah, where's that stuff at?
Yeah, it's crazy good stuff that I just don't see anything, from them. Division, I gave it my best shot. I tried it. I get it. I get what kind of game it wants to be, but I already have Destiny, so I'm good. I have my looter shooter. I prefer my fantasy sci-fi lore looter shooter to, like you said, the same problem. Division 2 has the same problem Far Cry 5 has. It's just current America problems in video game form.
Yeah.
At one point was excited for Beyond Good and Evil 2. I have lost all hope that game's going to be any fun for me, though.
Good luck, man. A, that it comes out, and B, that it's any good. Because at this point, how long has it been?
Yeah.
Like a decade? It's going to be like, when Cyberpunk comes out, this will be like the thing that's been going on forever that people will write about. When's it going to be here? And it got delayed again.
Like there's always that one vaporware game, right? Like it was Half-Life 3 forever. And now that Half-Life Alyx has come out, it's like, okay, well, now there's been kind of a Half-Life game, so people have kind of stopped talking about it a little bit. But yeah, and then remember for a while it was Duke Nukem, and then Forever actually came out. But yeah, it's
Last Guardian. Remember,
yeah,
was a joke.
Yeah, Last Guardian was a huge one. But yeah, Beyond Good and Evil has been kind of that game on console for a long time, and I wouldn't say Psychonauts 2, because
that should be out within the year.
Yeah, that's actually probably going to happen. But yeah, Beyond Good and Evil, I remember before it was announced, people just talking about, oh, wouldn't it be cool if another Beyond Good and Evil came out? It's so underrated, and it's just
had such a cliffhanger ending. They were definitely expecting to have a sequel.
Yeah. Fresh property, not a sequel. Let's do something else with this, and it really took forever. And then once that teaser video came, where you actually are like, is this actually happening? And then
a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, a number of years ago. So.
Right. I don't even remember. It was 3, maybe.
Michel Ancel just left Ubisoft within the last couple months too, and he was the lead on that one.
Just write that one off. Well, that's. It's good to catch up, and that's why I just wanted it. We were planning on doing a topic, and I just thought, I just need to just talk, and so I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and I hope our listeners enjoyed it. I know sometimes, coming to you might be kind of like how I listen to podcasts. Sometimes where it's more like, oh, I just gonna get to listen and hang out with my friends for a few minutes. So I hope that we can be that for you. And we plan to get back on track with our every other week show. So we'll be coming back to you very soon. So quick roundup, guys. Where can people find you? So Kelsey, doing any writing? Is anything coming up?
No, nothing major right now. Just check me at Twitter at Kelsey Polnick, KELSY POLNIK. You can hear me complain about Ikari Warriors or what cool Batman books I've been reading.
Or showing me the coolest trick cane thing from Bloodborne.
That threaded cane was amazing.
That was so cool. Bill, what about you? Where can people find you?
Twitter mainly. At Bill McGee. It's BILMCGEE, and I've not been posting a ton. Every once in a while I'll throw a beer that I'm drinking or some Lego set or some Destiny thing. But Twitter's weird for me. It's I'm more of a lurker, so it's I'd like to see what all my friends are doing, and then I'll post something, and I'm like, no one's looking at this. So. But yeah,
hashtags, Bill. More hashtags.
It's got to. I feel so old using Twitter. Is this how you do it? You just use it like Google, or is it email, or is it something else?
Just have fun with it. And just follow Will Riker. The Googling one.
Yeah.
It's.
Honestly, when Kelsey joined Twitter, it was my favorite thing that happened on Twitter in a long time, because we could just. like I would say something and then he responded, and I was like, oh, this must be what it's like to be famous. Like when you say things and then someone just immediately says something back to you on the internet, and then we just have like meme battles where we just like exchange gifts back and forth for an hour at work. And I'm like, oh, this is what the internet was made for.
Exactly. It's one of my highlights too. When I posted I tagged Chris in that threaded Kane from Bloodborne, he posted a GIF that just made me laugh like really hard in real life because it was not what I was expecting from him.
Yeah. That's the internet is half memes and GIFs anyway, right? I mean, that's just. But yeah. So if you want to follow me, I just do the show account. So it's at Collectorcast. It's probably a lot of ramble between a small group of friends and a few other people, but that's what makes it fun. So share your gaming stuff with us, share your lives. Feel free. We're having fun. We're out there. We're enjoying ourselves. As always, you can find us on RF Generation. You can always come over there. Use the website. You can find the show at collectorcast.com or pretty much any other major platform. Except for SoundCloud. I'll figure that out at some point in time, but not yet. We're pretty much everywhere else. Even the new YouTube music. You can find us there if you really want to. So I really appreciate everybody taking the time to listen. Thanks for being with us, and we'll catch you next time.
So good.
All right, welcome everybody to episode 61 of the RF Generation Collector Cast. I say this literally every time. I can't believe it's 61. So anyway, is it 62? Oh crap! Now I got to re-record it. All right.
Yeah. Schwarzenegger just walked in to my house.